Bada bing, bada boom. Hey, everyone. Everyone that probably isn't there yet. About to get rolling. Just getting a couple things settled in here. Thanks for joining. What's up, Peter? Man, so much two-step verification. You know what I mean? So much two-step verification. What's up, guys? What's up, guys? Wow, still not seeing the two-step verification. I'm mixing a song for a friend. He produced it. And so yeah, let's just oh, now my camera's not focusing. There we go. Man, I'm not getting it. Whatever. Let's not log in here. Let's shut this down. Okay. We're working though. Yeah. Wow. All right. Cool. Hello everyone. Welcome to not a test stream. Let's kind of dive in, and I'm just gonna roll. I'll kind of keep an eye on the chat. If you guys have any questions, let me know how everything's sounding. I'm gonna use some headphones, so we shouldn't have any major echoiness, hopefully. But yeah, let me know how everything sounds. Hopefully, we'll be vibing. Here we go. Let me pop this. Wow. Okay. Let's close this. Close this. Bring this over here in case I need to see it. It gave me that warning yesterday that the stream's current bitrate is something, and I don't know how to change that. Oh, it's lower than the recommended bitrate. All right, let's try to increase it. 13,500. I'll keep that in mind for next time. Let's see if I can adjust the settings midstream in OBS? Question mark? No, I cannot. Actually, wait. Oh, yeah. Let's go to 13,500. Apply. Okay. All right. Is it still working? Yeah. All right. Cool. Cool. Anyway, you can make a video with your typical IEM mix. Maybe. Vox is a little low. Okay, heard. Let's crank that. Let's crank that up. It's probably because I'm not even looking at the mic. That's probably the main issue there. So, but let me gain it up a little bit more. Hey. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Let's try that. Thanks, guys. Thanks for bearing with me. All right. I need to time these drums. So that's kind of what I'm going to get into next. I've like kind of half mixed this song, or not half, like 10%. Just kind of got it in my session. I actually don't even know the name of the song. It's the abbreviation is SRD. So that's cool. Oh, I bet it's Sin Runs Deep because that's one of the lyrics. So that's cool. Oh, the chat disappears when I come over here. All right. Let's just put it up here. All right. Cool. All right. It's better. Great. Thank you guys. Thanks for helping me out. Yeah, I've just kind of got it in my template, kind of getting some general levels, but need to time these drums. And I will go through how I do that. I'll kind of just do that for fun. So I like to only show these and make it big, and I will will I include this? No. I will include my trigger channels, and so I'm going to remove these from the group. What is all this? Yeah, working on these problems. All right. I need to figure out how to use OBS better. That's my problem. Hello. All right, you guys can let me know. Ooh, I think we're clipping there. All right. Let me know how those levels are. But we'll, for the time being, just kind of roll. Cool. Do a little fade right here. Had a weird drop out in the overheads. What headphones? These are Neumann what are these called? NDH30s. I've been trying them out. They're open back. I can't use them a ton right now because of this freaking portable AC situation. Do I use a Bethel template for mixing? No, I just use my own. Can we get a look at the Ableton Keys template? Yeah, I do need to do some Ableton Keys stuff soon. But this is what I'm doing right now. So we'll roll with this. Wow. These drums still need a little bit of work. That's okay. That's okay. That's what we're here for. All right, let's time these. I'm going to make a new playlist so I don't screw anything up. And then let's cut them right here. Beat Detective. I think we have 8 notes. Levels are good. Let's go. Great to hear it. It's a first for everything. Oh, we're missing. Or what is that? Oh, yeah, it's a hi-hat right there. Yeah, great. Why is my click not working? Oh, did I delete my click? I don't even have a click track. All right. Oops. These are all raw, no triggers as of right now. Obviously have some processing on everything, but I have yet to kind of really dial everything in. Editing is the first step of mixing. Got to make sure everything, is, yeah. Keys playthroughs of any Bethel songs? Maybe. We're actually working on that kind of stuff for Worship You as well. We're doing a bunch of keys and every instrument because Worship You is coming back. So Keys was on point on Sunday. Thank you very much. What the heck? Let's just. Ooh, shoot. I may have done that over here too. Yep. My bad. It's probably a setting. Preserve fades and editing. Yeah. Okay. Can't have that. Are they triggered? Nothing's triggered right now. Song name is, I think it's called Sin Runs Deep. I can't remember the artist name. I will find that out though, and I'll probably put it in the description. Step-by-step beat detective. Yeah, I can do that in just a moment here. Basically, you just got to make sure your drums are grouped together and you're processing them all together. That's kind of main thing. And then I'll show when I do my next section. Right now I'm just grabbing a couple that, okay, yeah, these crossfades are not being drug with my clip. That's just a setting thing, I'm pretty sure. Let's see. Huh. I don't know. I do not know why it's doing that this time. How to solve phase issues when mixing drums? That's actually something I usually do before I start timing, so maybe I should have done that. But I can show that here in a moment too. I usually basically you're just listening as you're recording, you're listening, thinking about snare top and bottom are almost always out of phase because the mics are literally pointing different directions. And then I'm just checking overheads against the snare, toms against the overheads. But basically once you have them all tracked, you can kind of just zoom in and see like, okay, so we recorded these. I didn't record these, but snare top and snare bottom were already put in phase. But the overheads over here, they're obviously delayed. And so you need to make sure that the, kind of peaks and valleys of the overheads aren't negatively impacting the snare. I usually just manually align everything, which I'll show that in a moment. Sometimes I do it before Beat Detective. This one I just dove into Beat Detective, wasn't even thinking, and I don't think it super matters because at the end of the day, they're all going to end up in the same place. I think. We'll find out. Oh, why aren't these fades moving? That's so annoying. Am I going to align everything to the grid then humanize? No. I'm going to align everything to the grid and let the fact that a human played these drums be human enough. I mean, for this one, you'll hear the vibe of the song. I can just kind of give you a taste. But it's like it needs to be pretty tight. And I'm already hearing, because I was listening some to like without the drums timed. And it doesn't feel human. It feels sloppy, if that makes sense. And that's just me, So it feels like it needs to be pretty tight. You know what I mean? So I'm not gonna humanize, quote unquote. I'm just gonna grip it and rip it. Where was I? Probably around here. Keys placed to break down the parts and sound choices. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. I will keep that in mind for sure. Cool. All right, I'll talk through step by step Beat Detective on this one for Dennis. For Dennis. I'm just kind of seeing what I'm working with here. Oh, there's some triplets. I do triplets separate, usually, because there's a little box you can check. So I want to make sure I'm... All right. Hi, Abel. This is embarrassing because Abel's a real mixing engineer and I'm just me. I'm just little old me. Wow, look at that one. He almost hit it perfectly on time already. Okay, so I'm going to do this one section at a time. This one. So Beat Detective step 1, baby. I never mix with pink noise. Never done it. What do I think about mixing with pink noise? I usually just mix against references. Yeah. Come up to Beat Detective Command 8. Clip separation. What's in it? This is basically, I think, all eighth notes. Yeah, this is all eighth notes, so contains eighth notes. Capture the selection. You want to make sure that this selection is actually what you're looking at. Then you hit analyze, and then I just do this until I have all of my main transients taken care of. And then I separate, and then clip conform, edit smoothing, smooth. And that will fill your gaps, crossfade, etc. And now you have everything's on the grid. And then you go back and you listen through. And if anything, if usually it happens like in worship music, a kick and a snare, if they're building, Beat Detective's looking at one of those things, and there's odds are the drummer is like flamming them a little bit. So sometimes I'll Beat Detective the kick by itself and then everything else, just to make sure that everything is, you know, on. So let's listen though. I mean, that's most important step of Beat Detective is just listen back to what you did and make sure you didn't make any mistakes. That sounds funny. So these, I'm gonna want to make sure that which I should make a marker here for like bridge. Oops. So now I'm gonna want to look and see Dennis from Uganda. Yeah, let's go. Now I'm just gonna want to make sure that because my kick and my toms are playing at the same time, that they're actually both in time. So I have one group that's all my drums, and then I have a group that is everything except for the kick, and then I've got the kick by itself. So you can see that the kick was a little late because Beat Detective was looking at the toms. I'm just going to go in and make sure that the kick is locked in. I don't mind that the toms are flamming a little bit because that's kind of like, you know, a cool sound. But I want to make sure that the kick, the low end, the groove of the song is like, you know, right on. If that makes sense. Yeah, ask something about mixing. Go for it. Like now these toms are a little late. I'm just going to scoop them up. Okay, what does it do with my freaking crossfades? Not... it's so frustrating. That's what happens. I need to set my... I need to change something where, like, I'll get a session from somebody, and then I open it, and it rewrites all of my... Oh, we missed a tom there. Ooh. It redoes all of my settings, or like my preferences, and I need to store my preferences and recall them anytime I get a session for somebody else, because that's so annoying. Oh, we missed another tom there, which it's basically on, so that's fine. Just make sure these kicks are still on. A little bit late there. It's a lot of silence. Just because this is the boring part. But arguably one of the most important parts is having everything edited to where it makes the mixing easy. And makes the mixing actually just, you know, faders and EQ and vibe, you know, versus versus having to fix all this stuff, you know what I mean? Like only so much sidechain compression from your kick to your bass will make it sound like they're in time with one another. It's easier just to have everything in time with each other, you know? Oh, I gotta figure out this fade thing that's so annoying. Okay. Love it. Are we gonna mix the whole song today? I'm gonna mix as much as I can because I need to get it done. Oh shoot, I also need to finish melodizing those vocals for that other song. Do I align everything perfectly or just the drums? Kind of depends. I'm not producing this song, so I'm gonna probably leave most everything else like fairly as is, unless I hear something that's like glaringly like, ooh, that's annoying me. But when I'm producing, I'll at least give everything a little once over and make sure, because ideally, you know, the performances are pretty locked. Ideally, the performances are good, you know, and I'm not having to make super drastic changes. But even, you know, even the best performances like can usually be tightened up a little bit. And so I always time the drums perfectly. Bass, I usually will align pretty spot on. And then guitars, I like to not have to if at all possible. And most of the guitar players I work with are awesome and they don't need any timing. Oh, now we're at our new section. Okay. And then keys is usually like a MIDI instrument, and so I'm usually quantizing those like before I bounce them to audio. And then vocals, I'll usually like kind of nudge the lead vocal to make sure it's in time if it ever feels like it's rushing or dragging. And then I time align the BGVs to the lead vocal usually. Acoustics, I usually, unless something is like glaring, I usually let them, because I'm a pretty decent acoustic player timing wise, so I usually just let them fly. Trying to think of anything else. I don't know if that answers your question. Greetings from Germany. What's up? Ethan, what's up, man? Good to hear from you. Have I messed with AbleSet? No, I haven't. I don't even know what that is. All right, there's our triplet fill. So now, Dennis from Uganda, we are going to, in Beat Detective, say we're going to capture the selection. It has eighth notes with triplets. Capture that selection, analyze it, make sure it's getting all of our transients. Separate, conform. Yeah, that's wrong. Sometimes it does that, and I don't know. I just do it manually like that. That should be right. I just did Command 0 to the grid. And then we're just going to have to go in and actually make sure that this is all right. So that looks good. Oh, wait. No, does it? Wait. No, does not look good. Okay, sick. All right, so that one's right. Let's just nudge this one over. And then you just want to make sure wherever your crossfades are that they aren't like getting any of the old out of time clip, you know? Who tracked the drums on this one? Ivan Torres. Tracked these drums. Did I track anything? Not on this song. Oh, that's wrong. I think it's scan-oo. That's my guess. What shortcuts am I using to edit so quickly? R and T, zoom in and out. That was Command E to break that clip. Command E, R. I think I have a, what's it called? Key, stroke, keyboard. I can't remember. Maybe for a future stream I'll have the keys that I'm hitting up on the screen, because that is really helpful. I know. Nudge this over. I think that's good. Okay. Yeah. All right. Let's fill these. Okay. All right. Now let's listen back to what we just said. Hello from Hungary. Hello. Oh, there's a little gap there. We'll fix that. I think I already fixed all these. Yeah. Is R and T default for Pro Tools zoom in and out? Yes, it is. As long as you have the edit focus on, which is this little, if you can see my mouse way over here, this A to Z right here. Because if it's on the group focus, then R and T will just activate your groups or whatever. But if it's on edit focus, which is my normal, then you get all of these single keyboard shortcuts. Wow, another triplet. Okay. Let's do just this right here. Ooh. Wait, are these edited badly? Wait. Hold on. Uh-oh. they sound like that? That's so weird. Where's the elastic properties? Oh no, there's no elastic. Logic for idea. Hello from Ukraine. Hello. Will this live be saved? I think I'm gonna save it. Yeah, I think I'm gonna save it. So no pressure to stick around. Keycaster. Maybe that's what I had. No, but I think that is one of them. Any tips on recording vocals? Just sent my tracks to my producer in LA, but I feel like I struggle feeling good about different aspects of the vocals. I mean, I think the biggest thing, especially when you're recording your own vocals, is like making sure you feel comfortable. Because yeah, these room mics are not aligned. What is happening? I think these are from a different take. Okay. We're not gonna use the room mics. Uh-oh. Somebody's getting fired. Just kidding. Let's just hide and make these inactive. That's a bummer. I kind of liked the way that this sounded a little bit, but yeah, the biggest thing is comfort. So finding a mic you feel comfortable with, making sure you are, whatever you have to do to feel confident and comfortable as you warm up or whatever. Because the biggest thing with vocal recording is like you want the best performance possible. And then, just make sure you're not in a super roomy sounding room and have a decent mic with a pop filter and make sure you don't clip. That's kind of biggest stuff, All right, let's see if this works now. Yeah, there we go. Boom. Boom, 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 boom. Ooh, that's bad. Wait. When in doubt, just figure out where it was supposed to be, Go back to the original, figure it out where it was supposed to be. So there's the tom, But yeah, these are just grabbing the wrong things. Okay. See if this works. I don't want this marker. Okay. We should be able to do the rest of this. How do I mix drums? Well, we're about to find out. What is this I'm doing? I am mixing a song for a friend. And so I'm just kind of in the early stages of editing all the drums and stuff. What song is this? Also, what's my max specs? This is a song for a friend that is not out yet, but will be out. What's my max specs? I have an M4. What do I have? Let's see. An M4 Max. I mean, I spec'd her out for sure with 128 gigs of memory and a 2 terabyte hard drive. Heyo from Boston. Is mayonnaise an instrument? Depends on how you use it, I guess. Oh, we gotta fix that snare. All right, let's get these 16th notes out of the way too. So, bam, bam, bam. Come on, there we go. The other thing you can do with Beat Detector is nice, is you can adjust where the, like right there, that doesn't seem like it's actually hitting the right spot. Let's just drag them to the right spot. And then let's do this on the We'll fix those kicks in a second. Okay, those all look good. Separate. Okay, let's see. See how we did here. All right. Check for flams. There's a flam right there. Do I have my mix template for sale? I don't. Am I going to be able to watch this later? Yes. Do you really need the click? Not really, but it's easier than trying to see the grid lines sometimes. It's just better to listen. Am I ever going to visit Ukraine? Maybe one day. Beat Detective go to. Why are you dividing the clips? What does Beat Detective do? Beat Detective like time aligns audio. And so instead of like stretching or, you know, that kind of thing, for percussive instruments, I usually use, or for drums, mainly is the only thing I use Beat Detective for. Sometimes like shaker, I guess. Versus like in Pro Tools, elastic audio is like how I would edit like keys or guitars, where it's like I'm stretching or compressing them, you know, to, not compressing audio, but, you know, squishing them to be in time. But that would sound weird on drums. And Beat Detective can work on like keys and stuff, but it's better. It's more well suited for stuff that has like really distinct, obvious transients, aka drums. AKA drums. Oh. Right. All right. The rest of these we should be able to do just in one little go here, with eighth notes. That looks good. Cool. I feel like we are done with this one. Hopefully. Whoa, what's that buzzy sound? Dan, praise God for it. Bro, this ain't you. Danny Vargas doesn't need it quite as much. Detective. Oh, Carlos, Smooth Marker. I know, I remember seeing that for the first time, like, praise God. Let's see. Hearing from Marietta. I love Marietta. Go to Valor Coffee. Oh, I love your song. I probably won't release that because it's a Brian Johnson song. Hello from Melbourne, Australia. I love Melbourne. Does PT have the best workflow and tools for doing this? In my opinion, yes. I don't know exactly what Logic's like time correction stuff is. I know it has like flex something. I know for a fact Ableton doesn't have anything like this. You can only stretch and stuff. And so I don't know anything else like Beat Detective. How tight do you like the drums locked to the grid? Tight. Don't miss my message. Scroll up. I'd like to send you my bouts. Yep, you totally can. You can go to my website and send me an email. When was I introduced to mixing? I don't know. Maybe like 10 years ago, 12 years ago. About to buy Pro Tools. Yeah. Yeah, just for the time aligning, it's worth it. You know, just for the heck of it, because this ride is so obvious, let's just nudge her over a little bit. Oh, that worked. Huh, that crossfade worked. I don't know what's going on with my crossfade. How was that? Let's see if we can fade that out. That's so funny. Hello from Romania. Hello from America. Alright. These kicks sound bad. Let's make them sound better. Excuse me. Actually, let's consolidate this these drums first. Let's rename. I will post this, and you can rewatch it later. 3 biggest mistakes when people post. Wait, what's the 3 biggest mistakes people make when post mixing? Like, I guess you mean like post mixing a live something. Also, liver stuff. Thanks so much. Not maybe. I guess knowing when to overdub stuff and when not to. I hate overdubs that are like super obvious, but it's like you also want to just know when to admit defeat. Like, okay, you know what? That take wasn't good enough. Like, let's overdub it, or don't be afraid to edit. If I had to use the Nord, what would my chain be? I would use MIDI out of the Nord, and I would plug it into my computer. How do you choose people to team on worship? Well, we kind of have like a little audition process, and it just is based on, our need at any given time. But most of the time, we just want to know that you're an awesome person that loves God, that loves the church, and that is good at what you do and can bring that gift to the house. It's my alarm for picking up my son from school, which I'm not doing anymore. All right. Ooh. That sounds bad. Did I end up playing Fortnite last night? I did not. None of my friends were online. How often do I overdub on keys at Bethel? Actually, for the last couple albums, we haven't overdubbed any of my pianos. Just still have to time them. First song I ever produced. I actually was just thinking about this the other day. One of the first songs I ever produced was for Noah Paul Harrison, Deepest Places Reimagined. That was the first time I ever got paid to produce a song. I will try to explain why I'm using some of these plugins. What do I do to warm up vocally on Sunday? I honestly don't usually do a good job, but I usually wake up, take a shower, kind of start to just hum low in the shower, let the steam kind of open me up, etc. I'm going to leave this one up to watch later. When I record keys, I'm never using like a Nord or anything. I'm always using like MIDI, VST stuff. What do I need to do to record a podcast? I guess shoot me an email. Any plans to come back to Canada? Yes, I think we're going to go to Canada early next year. What kit am I mixing right now? I don't remember. I think it's a vintage Slingerland or something. Don't know what the cymbals are. Don't know what the snare is. I'd love to go to Ukraine sometime. That'd be cool. All right. What I need to do now, sorry, is I just remembered. Now let's, somebody was asking about phase earlier. Let's make sure that everything is, locked in, loaded as far as like, so also, wow, a little bad at it right there. I'm just gonna do this, I think. So what we want to do is line every instrument up with itself. So I want all the kick mics to be perfectly in phase, right? Whoa, how did that snare get out of phase, but that one is in phase? What the? Oh, it's because, never mind. It's because it's just bleed from the kick. Uh-oh. Bottom is already, snare bottom's already pretty good. I might nudge it up just a little bit. And then what I do is I do the hi-hats and the overheads. I think I do it this way. I'm gonna make sure. I do the hi-hats and the overheads based on snare top. So this hi-hat I will take here. This overhead I will take here. Don't worry, we're gonna make this work. So I do snare bottom to snare top, then hi-hats, overheads, overheads, hi-hat and overheads to snare top. And then after I've nudged my overheads to match the snare, I nudge my toms to match the overheads. So I go and find a tom, like this tom 2 right here. And I want, see, this is why I usually do this before I beat detective. That's why I do it. Frick. Oh well. I think it'll be all right because these are really small values. So now I know my, because I want my floor tom to be in phase and in time with my right overhead, unless you're a lefty drummer. And then I want my rack tom to be in phase and in time. Let's find a rack tom right here with my left overhead. So I go to my left overhead, and you can see that when the rack tom hits, it's hitting the left overhead mic slightly before it hits the right overhead mic. That's good, that's fine. Now we're gonna just nudge this right here. So now everything will be in phase, in time. We just need to make sure that the hi-hats are in time with the overheads. So let me just double check that. Yeah, that should be good. Are these? Yeah, these are good. Actually, this right overhead can come back just a little bit. Make sure it doesn't sound weird. Okay. Okay, cool. All right, now let's make a new playlist again and commit these. All right, wow. Will I play at Big Church? Not this year, maybe next year. Whoa, just letting you know a little tip on posting YouTube links, which don't take you to a browser and straight to that. Type open before the word YouTube in the link. Okay, great to know. Thank you very much, Joshua. Next time Bethel is in Europe, probably early next year. Oh, thanks, D. Goretz. Appreciate it. It's kind. Okay. Sounded pretty good. Could be worse. All right, let's bring our triggers in now. I can still hide these room mics. We don't need them. Looks like the left overhead is maybe just a little bit quieter too. The other thing I'm probably gonna do, which is super annoying, is go in and instead of a gate on snare, I usually just clip gain, draw the clip gain line. Because I can kind of just control how exactly it's opening, but maybe we won't do that right now just because it's really, really annoying. Let's see. Actually, no, I want to leave this on. All right, so let's bring in our snare trigger. Let's bring in our kick trigger. using Mystery Snare by Perks Live. I love that one. It's simple. It's not like overly hyped. That sounds pretty good. Oh, you know what? Hold on. I think I have the wrong profile on these headphones. What do I have, the 20s or the 30s? The 30s. There we go. Oh yeah, and then what was I gonna do? Oh, what did I just do? Okay. Wow. Sorry. What DAW am I producing in? Usually Ableton or Pro Tools. At some point in every process, though, I go from Ableton to Pro Tools. What was I going to do? Oh, yeah, I need to tighten up the swell. Oh, oops. Oh, I see. That's why. I shouldn't have done that. Hold on. I need to put this back and this back. I need to put this back and this back. Whatever. Hopefully this playlist don't get weird. All right. Decent start. I heard that if you put OT on everything, the mix is done. That is true. Is Ableton and Pro Tools a preference, or are those a step above Logic? They are a preference. Would love to see your mix on EGs. Well, I usually try to keep it pretty simple. Right now, I don't even have much EQ and everything. I'll probably high pass everything at least. a little bit. And then I send everything to a group with a little bit of mid-side compression, a little bit of EQ. I try not to do a ton of nailing. Like if they're recorded well, the goal is to not, you know. This probably doesn't need compression. Oh. These I might time because it's like, because they're so, I don't know. It's a lot of work. Okay, the bass needs timing. I gotta do it. I can't not do it. Bass and drums have to be freaking locked, you know what I mean? Can I go over what's on the drums? Yeah. Basically, everything has a channel strip on it that I'm just doing kind of basic EQ, compression. And then I like to group everything. I mean, this is such a hodgepodge that oftentimes I'm like turning on and off different things and I'm just like auditioning things. But all of my kick mics go into a kick bus. All of my snare mics and triggers go into a snare bus. All my toms go into a tom bus because who's taught me this trick? Maybe Mikey Lewis is put compression, a stereo compressor on your tom bus. And then when they're doing tom fills, like say they're starting with a rack tom, when the floor toms comes in, it will compress that rack tom tail out of the way a little bit, which is cool. So I've been doing that, and then that's a good opportunity to put a little decapitator on at the end. And then everything goes into kind of like a clean bus, which is just a little bit of a compression. And then into like some saturation and then some heavier compression, which I can actually turn this back on. And then I've got a kick snare bus, which is just, you guessed it, the kick and the snare. And DBX 160 sounds great for that. Kind of gives it that nice smacky, maybe a little bit more. Yeah. Okay, wow, sorry, catching up. I need to put my chat, my chatter box. I actually can do this because I don't think you guys can see it perfectly. Yeah, perfect. My trigger settings, sure. There they are. For kick and for snare. What worship song do I like the most right now? Oh, hard to pick a favorite. What app even is that? That is Pro Tools. Wow, I scrolled up way too far. How do I check mono compatibility at what step? Usually towards the end, and I just put the mix in mono and make sure everything still sounds good, make sure I can hear the kick, snare, and vocal, basically. Love my approach to bass tone. Thanks so much. A teenager trying to get into the worship space. Just find somewhere to serve is huge. Find a community to get involved in. Become a hungry student of the word. Get to know it front and back. and worship the Lord on your own time without a stage. Do I mix mainly on the Neumanns? No, I don't. I almost hardly ever fully mix on these. I'll kind of check, but I have some barefoot footprints right here that I use. Actually, I wonder if how cool would it be if I could add my phone as a camera. That would be so cool. Should I try to do that right now? Maybe. What would it be? Capture card device? No. Image? No. Media source? No. Oh, video capture device. Right? Let's make sure it's off for a moment. Guys, guess what? This is just a waste of time, probably. Oh, hold on now. Hold on now. Oh, wow. That's cool. Okay, I'm going to turn it on for you guys. Hold on. Hold on now. Cool, yeah. So I have some barefoot monitors that I use. That's nice. Isn't that nice? Are the monitors calibrated? Yeah, I use SonarWorks Sound ID. And do I have any acoustics within my room? I do. Got these clouds. I have wall panels, a lot of wall panels. And then I have a gobo that I usually put in front of this big open closet. Yeah. Wow, this is fun. I should probably make this bigger, huh? Wow. Very cool. Let's send this back. I need to put it under this, right? Yeah, there we go. Okay, cool. All right, very fun, very fun. Wow, okay. Synth sounds. How do I do it? Mostly VSTs or analog gear. I do have an OB6 that I love. That's huge. But I use a lot of Omnisphere as well. Yeah. How do I prefer to? The question is, how do I pan drums? I do drummer's perspective. That's my preference. To each his own. What plugins do I use in master? I don't technically master, but on my mix bus, I usually have some sort of saturation, compression, EQ, like a Pultec EQ. I like Oxford Inflator, maybe some clipping at the end. Which reverbs do I use? Wow. We could really just dive into really only questions. On Ableton, when playing keys, do I send out each channels to separate outputs? I sure do. Pianos are 1 and 2. And pads are 3 and 4. Synths are 3 and 4. I don't use drones. Well, I use texture loops. Those are all 3 and 4. Any piano sounding sound? 1 and 2. Any synthetic sounding sound? 3 and 4. Cool. Wow. What were we doing? I don't even remember. We're going to time the bass. Gotta time that bass. I also need to see if my friend responded to me because I asked permission to add a tambourine to this song because it needs it. Yeah, thank God. Wait. Oh, God. Oh, wow. I'm supposed to pick up my son. I misread my wife's text. Awesome. Love that. So you know what? We're going to shut this one down. And I will see you guys later. Okay, goodbye.